This is Kerry Artak with Wicked Signal. Today's video was recorded Monday, December 14th, 2020, and it covers American Airlines or American Airlines Group Incorporated, symbol AAL. Before I jump into analyzing the stock and showing you some of the key ceilings and floors and so forth and so on, please let me remind you to go to wickedsignal.com or have any of your trader friends or investors go to wickedsignal.com. Fill out the free subscription form, first name, last name, email address, and you or they will receive an email every single time a new video or new stock has been analyzed by video. And so you'll get that each and every time. And, as I keep saying, I don't load your inbox with sales pitches, and I do not sell your information with anyone outside the organization. So let's jump in. American Airlines. This is a weekly chart that goes back to 2005. The airline industry has had its ups and downs, obviously, as you can see in this chart. I'm not going to get into all that, and I know that you're familiar with American Airlines, maybe not in a deep fundamental sense, but at least you're aware of it. You've probably flown on it. And so I'm not going to talk about the company or what it does. I will show you kind of the extremes on the weekly bar chart that goes back 15 years or so. You've got a 63.27 2006 high, and the extreme low is a $1.45 in 2008. That was obviously the financial crisis of that era. And then you can see as the market recovered, you've got some double top in the upper 50s, and then you've got the mid 20s as an intermediate low, and then most recently called the COVID low, 8.25 a share in March of this year. And so there's that. I'm going to expand the chart and open up just this area so we can see what I'm looking at. And as we do so, you can see that we have a long-term descending channel top that I consider to be trend defining, that this week is at 18.40 a share for the week of December 14th, and it drops 4 full weeks later to 17.28 a share the week of January 11th. As per usual, you can subtract those out, divide by 4, and you will know where that channel top is each and every week between now and then, between now and January, the week of January 11th. So what about this? This is our ceiling. This would be a meaningful buy signal into the first quarter if the market could close above 1840 at the end of any week. And by the way, I'm going to get into this. I'm in the midst of producing kind of a user's guide whereby I finesse, how to act on these trades. And I don't want to get deep into that right now, but I'm just saying that if we close above 1840 any day within the week of this particular week, and we do so by, at least a 1% margin, which would be 18.5 cents higher, roughly. In other words, 1858. Is that right? Yeah, 1858, 1859, somewhere in there. If we closed above 1859, let's say, on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or Thursday, that is an actionable buy signal. It's just that you want to see the week obviously close out as well, because the week has a certain degree of finality, closure to it with regard to these structures. But I digress a bit. 1840, this long-term channel top goes back a couple of years, can contain buying not only through the month of December, but quite possibly well into the first quarter. From here, the market can fall back. I'll show you what those support levels are in a minute. But really what I like about this is a pretty reliable buy signal, in my opinion, if we close above this formation. So watch this stock. Watch these price levels into early January. And if we close above this formation, certainly at the end of any week, by at least a 1% margin, we do have a buy signal into the mid-20s. 25.58 is this ascending channel top this week, rises at 25.97 the week of January 11th. And once again, I didn't take a calculator out, but I'm seeing here, this is at least a 25% gain. This is more like a 30% gain or better if played properly. So if we close at, say, at the end of this week at 1859 or higher, which once again is a 1% violation of 1840, then the 2558 formation becomes a realistic target that should be realized within 2 or 3 months. And it may even be more of an accelerated move that could play out over 2 or 3 weeks, perhaps. You can see that last April. March, April, when we rallied off the COVID lows. I wouldn't necessarily expect that to happen again, but I wouldn't be surprised either, because I'm not the only one who's looking, obviously, at these classic chart formations. So closing above 1840 by at least a 1% margin or that channel top any week between now and the early January does elicit a buy signal that should play out over the weeks ahead. The initial target being 2597, that week of January. When I say ultimate, I haven't actually looked at what's possible long term, but for the scope of these videos, for the scope of these signals, where I really do like to give a 2 to 3 week to 2 to 3 month analysis on these stocks, we'll just leave it at that. And I think that mid-20s would be a real trouble spot that could actually contain quarterly highs if or when tested. Now, looking downside, and I'm not putting a lot of emphasis here, I'm just saying if we zoom in a bit, you can see how I do have decent support. I'd call this near-term support in the 1490s all the way into January. This is an area that, for short-term traders, by the way, if by short-term in this context, 2 to 3 weeks out, you can buy puts in the 1840 area, 18 handle, let's call it. You can buy puts, sell calls in that vicinity, and on the way down, you can take profits in the 1490s or buy calls in the 1490s. If we take out this 1498 even formation, I'm not even really going to give a target. You've got that low back in March, which was 8.25. I don't even want to go there. I think just for the sake of this image, you can see we're kind of like between now and, say, I don't know, the end of January, we're in a 1490s floor to 18 ceiling. And if the market can close once again above this channel structure at 1840, we have a nice buy signal. There's no good reason, by the way, I need to leave you with this. I don't have a buy signal until we close above it. It's just, this is sort of like a heads up, like watch this, keep an eye out for this. Because if we settle above this formation, I think we will get into the mid-20s. Until then, it's kind of in a consolidated framework and very free to fall back into the 1490s over the next few weeks. I'll just leave you with this formation in the end, just to emphasize 1840 ceiling. If we can get above it, or wherever that formation is between now and the week of January 11th, mid-20s, I think, is a pretty predictable objective worth at least this particular signal. And that's really all that needs to be said for this particular Wicked Signal video on American Airlines Group.